And this is a little bit of like a brash, proclamation to the contrary. Is like things don't have to be very meaningful, and you can actually be absurd and create like really interesting experiences with that. My name is David, and I am the founder and creator of a brand called Switchkraft. Essentially, what we do is we create maximal multi-tools for adults who are kind of on the spectrum or neurodivergent. I think the main value proposition that we have here is that connection to your inner child is the source of all your creativity. And as adults, we lose that connection. Some of it's society, some of it's our own expectations. And the whole goal of Switchcraft is to create therapeutic play, reconnecting adults with their inner child. And so we make really wild, maximal, kind of absurd multi-tools that are made to engage adults. So we kind of start from even on the website and the customization experience, making it feel almost like a video game and giving people like a taste. We have a customizer that allows people to really create their own unique item. So the configurator that I've built on our website gives people over 2 million different possible configurations. And so it's like really deep on customization. And under the hood, the way we do all this is we essentially have a little factory in North Portland where we make everything on demand. So whatever people order, we have a system that will kind of create only what people make. And so this allows us to do what other companies can't do. Like they can't offer this level of customization due to just the massive headache it would cause. But since we do everything on demand and we use additive manufacturing as our method of production, then it allows us to kind of do this and offer people customization experiences and play experiences that they really can't get anywhere else. So that's the long and short pitch of it.
Amazing. What inspired you to start this? Was it a single thing that you can remember, or is this just inspiration that built up over time?
I feel like I was one of those kids when you see like a television show about an inventor or something like that. And that was early on, like that's my path, this kind of entrepreneurial road. And I went to school for product design, and I've always been interested in toys, specifically for just like the fun quality that they bring. They bring so much levity to experience. I spent a long time working in the footwear industry, so about 10 years. And in the footwear industry, it's really interesting. You see, shoes are essentially made up of component parts. You have your tooling, the base kind of sole, and then you have the heel counter and the vamp and all these things. But what's interesting is that company can just switch a couple of those items or change out the colorway, and suddenly you have a totally new product. And so, I was working in product design and 3D for the footwear industry. And I think that kind of filtered in this idea of modularity and customization. And I think this really started as a COVID era project of just tinkering, kind of like an escape from reality into a 3D viewport, And it was therapeutic in general just to make something wild, almost like, as a product designer, you're taught to like only make things that are meaningful, that really have a true purpose. It's kind of like drilled into you in design school. And this is a little bit of like a brash, proclamation to the contrary. Is like things don't have to be very meaningful, and you can actually be absurd and create like really interesting experiences with that. So our multi-tools, in a way, that's kind of what makes them absurd, is they don't really perform functions well like a multi-tool would, but they have the levity that creates fun, playful experiences.
So it's almost like you're enabling people to build like their own Rube Goldberg kind of machinery. Is that a good analogy?
I mean, that's what gives us like one of the edges that has given us like a lot of traction is really the content side. So our business exists because TikTok virality, a few years ago. And that's one of the pieces to it. When you have a system that you can continue adding stuff onto and make it super absurd, Rube Goldberg of a multi-tool, then it catches eyeballs and it always looks new. I think there's a lot of people who are building products where once you put a few videos out on the internet, here's my product, people are kind of tired of seeing that one thing. And what do? Do you go back and you work with your manufacturer across the seas to develop like 100 new variants? Now, that's super costly. And so we kind of create that, like, the customization at its core. It gives the customer like a really cool value, and it also helps make sure our content is always fresh and new.
Yeah, I usually phrase this next question as kind of a startup related advice, but I'd like to tweak it a little bit, like given your unique perspective and the kind of work you're doing. What's one piece of advice you would give someone who's considering using your solution, considering making something? Like, is there one kind of inspirational piece of advice you would give them to begin that journey and that project?
So someone who's considering maybe like building their first Switchkraft,
Yeah.
is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I would say your inner child is in there. The voice may be dialed down, it may be kind of low, but I would say close your eyes right now, here in this moment. Feel the space around you. Listen to that inner child and see what it says. And if it's like, you should just get one of these, then open that door. I would give you the opportunity right now to open that door. So there's my pitch.
I love it. I love it. What's one, as a human, as somebody who's working on a business, as somebody who's trying to keep this childlike perspective alive in the work that they do, what's one resource or touchstone you find yourself going back to time and time again to keep you invigorated in this pursuit?
Yeah, well, I try and infuse, we do this, we try and surface this in our website, in our interactions, our social media content, everything is inducing flow state, that feeling where you're just kind of engaged. And that's when your decisions, your ability to like change things is like moving at the speed of your thoughts. And I think that's where we get into roadblocks, is when we're trying to create something, but our hands can't move fast enough, or play a song, but our fingers don't know how to hit the chords. And I try and infuse flow state into the product development as well. So things that can help make this process go much faster and better. So for instance, when designing a new product, I could sit here, in my room and not talk to anyone and just clank away on a computer, or I could create content on social media and get like a swell of wild, weird, stupid ideas from my community, and then just rapid fire start building something. And what that creates is like a dopamine feedback loop. And it's not only you and your computer anymore, it's you and the people that you're talking to all connecting on this like similar vibe. And I think that is the key. That is the infinite energy unlock, is to do things that bring you joy and that excite you. And by whatever means necessary, try and build your company in that way, and then you'll never run out of energy.
I love the perspective and energy you brought to this conversation. It's really been helpful to me. How can we who are listening be most helpful to you right now?
Can you be most helpful? Well, I think even just going and checking out our site and seeing if the inner child inside is delighted. We have a really interesting 2D customizer that gives you all sorts of options. We also got some really fun, playful 3D customizers as well. I would do that, and also check out some of our content on Instagram. Our handle is Switchkraft with a K, Switchkraft. And we're doing a lot of cool things building out in public. So all the new ideas, they really do start as videos of like, hey, what should I build next? Replying to comments with more videos and just watching this thing happen. So I think checking out some of our content, checking out our website, that'd be really great.
Do you have a startup story to tell? I would love to hear from you.